as a co-option, and that is Maura Healy in Killarney and her brother Johnny Healy in the Kenmare area. Good morning to both. Good afternoon, I should say, to both of you, and congratulations. Johnny, I'll start with you. Topping the poll again like you did 5 years ago. You must be delighted.
Yes, Jory, I'm absolutely delighted and grateful to the 3,023 people that gave me their number one vote, and it means an awful lot when you put your name in a ballot paper, especially after being elected previously, to know that people have faith in you and trust in you to continue working on their behalf in Kerry County Council. And I just want to thank the almighty team that we had with us, Jory. I could sit into my Jeep wherever I'd be and head for Killorglin, meet Kerry or South Kerry or Kenmare, and I might have no one organised to canvass with me, and I wouldn't have 2 phone calls made when I'd have 1 or 2 people with me. That's the team that we have. That's the team going back to my grandfather's time that he'd built up. There's some people that canvass with me this time have been with us through the generations. They started with my grandfather, they were with Denny, or they were with Michael, now they were with myself and Maura and with Jack, and it means an awful lot. Look, we you know, when I say that people know out there what the Healy Rays are about, I mean it. We're going to continue doing what we always done or try to do, and that's to represent people to the best of our ability. And we'll apologise to no one for doing that. We feel that's what we're meant to do when we're elected, and we're extremely grateful to be elected, and we'll continue to do more of the same, which is to represent people and stand for them and to work for them on our issues. And you've had me say, Jory, the one advantage that we have over any other political party, you see them in this county alone this weekend calling counts on members of their own party, and they're entitled to do that, but we don't have that problem. We make up our mind on behalf of people and what we think will serve them in their best interests county-wide, and we give a strong, complete political service to the county of Kerry. In political parties, to be fair, their biggest trouble is they're watching each other. We don't have that trouble. We're a strong political team now, and we'll work together for the betterment of Kerry, and I'll do my level best for South Kerry on issues like the Greenway, which is a very strong issue in South Kerry at the moment. The Greenway needs to come to South Kerry and needs to be developed, and it needs it very badly, but they need to go back to the drawing board and talk to the farmers and talk to the fellas that are holding the keys to this, because without the land, I'm fearful that it may not go ahead. OK, we'll see where that one goes. Maura Healy, congratulations to you. You're co-opted a couple of years ago to take your father Danny's seat, but your first election, were you surprised you topped the poll? Are you delighted that you topped the poll, given it's as competitive as any other area in Kerry?
Thanks, Jory. I suppose it's a range of emotions. I just simply couldn't put it into words to think that 3,099 people came out and gave me their number one vote. It's overwhelming, to be honest. I really didn't expect it. I felt that I was, of all the candidates in the Killarney area, I was the most hardly hit, given the boundary changes. They came out places like Guinea Willis, Scartaglin, Annabla, all places that we had worked there. My grandfather had worked there since 1973, and I had worked there for the past 3 years, and I felt that this was going to be the battle of our lives. And I know politicians a lot of the time say that they're in trouble, but I really felt it, and I knew numbers to be vague, to leave it at that, but I knew what we had lost, and I really, again, I felt I wouldn't hold on to what Danny Healy had achieved, what was left of his vote in Killarney, as being a first-time candidate. I didn't expect that. I can't explain it. It's a range of things. It's the work that goes on in our house every day. It's people. We care about people, and to think, and we don't take it for granted, the votes that we get. And I know that I have a responsibility now, and I know that I must continue to work like I have for the past 3 years, and maybe there's even more pressure now. But I know when someone went out and went into a polling booth anywhere in the Killarney area and gave me their number one vote, they were trusting me and they were giving me a responsibility, and I certainly don't take it lightly today. I know what my role is, and that's what I want to continue to do. Yeah,
Maura, do you think all those years ago in 1997, when your grandfather walked out of the Fianna Fáil convention having not been added to the ticket and decided to go independent, do you think in his wildest dreams he would have thought 22 years later there'll be 2 TDs and 3 councillors bearing the Healy Ray name?
I could honestly say I don't think he would ever have imagined this, and while this is a very happy occasion for us, it's very emotional, and it's sad that he couldn't be around to see what he actually started. None of us would be here, and when all around for the past 9 months where I've been canvassing, I've been down roads and into houses, and there's things and jobs that he did for people 30 years ago, and they still haven't forgotten. And it's the regard and the legacy and the work rate and what he delivered to the people of Kerry. It'll never be forgotten, because I don't think it could ever be matched. He was a relentless worker, and we understand what he started. We understand what interest he had in people, and that is just, it's very simple. We're not here for glory. We know that we've a service to provide, and we're offering a full and complete service. But I in no way in the world, I think, could he ever have imagined this. It was such a difficult thing for him at the time to decide to walk away from Fianna Fáil, a party he'd supported for decades. He was a director of election. He was a councillor for 24 years at that stage for Fianna Fáil. That wasn't an easy thing for him to do at the time. It wasn't something he had planned, but it was a difficult thing for him to walk away. But I suppose their loss is our gain, and look at what we have now today. But we have because we want to represent the people, and people are saying that we changed the boundaries to suit ourselves. I've been working that area for the past 3 years, and Danny Healy Ray did it for 14 years before me. I wasn't afraid of the ground to travel. I held 29 different clinics in the first week of every month religiously, and that's the kind of service we provide. And if they want, then it's gerrymandering, and there's no way of putting it, but they can keep at it, because we've proved them whatever way they want to turn it and twist it. We will address it and do our level best to continue.
Okay, all right, listen, we're going to leave it there. My thanks to...
Could I just say,
yes, Johnny,
before I go, I've an awful funny feeling, unless they're fools altogether, that they will stop changing the boundaries now.
Well, it all depends.
Could I just say, like I know that's maybe not the way it works, but we're extremely proud, Jory, for to be with people, and we want to work for them, and that's what we want to do. And we thank people from the bottom of our hats, the people that have stood with us and voted for us. And without my grandfather, Jackie Healy Ray, Jackson as we used to call him, in our house, we miss him here today. I was here inside with him in Counts, where it was very close, and I remember it was in the Great Southern Hotel actually at the time. I remember at one stage of the day they said he'd his seat lost, and he still had a smile on his face, and he said, we'll go back up to the farm where we were and where we started out of, and we'll be fine. He won his seat that day, but he wasn't afraid of working, he wasn't afraid of trying. And the last point I'll give is, maybe altogether that one Jackie Healy Ray left Fianna Fáil, maybe Fianna Fáil left Jackie Healy Ray.
Do you think he'd be proud today, Johnny, finally?
Look, Jory, what I'll say to you, and I was extremely close with my grandfather. I went to council meetings with him when the mayor was being elected. I was at a council meeting in Healy. I have a picture of it before I went to school. He was proud of us no matter what we done. He for my own part, he taught me how to drive. I'm farming the farm that he farmed. I would not be involved in politics, only that he was, but I've become to love it. It's in our brain. It's like a fella that has been born in a farm, or someone that's been reared with something. It's in our blood, and we want to continue to work for the people and be honest and straight with the people, like he did. And he most certainly would be proud of each of every man. He lived in our house and we grew up. We absolutely adored him. He put on good. He had a knack that would be worth learning or teaching to anyone, if we could do that, if there was such a way of battling it. When he'd land you, or when he'd come to you, or when he'd believe you, he'd leave you in good form, and he'd put on good form. He'd an infectious smile. He was roguey. He was funny. He could be serious, and as everyone knows, he was as serious and as good a politician as was ever in this county. But he had a bit of fun, and he'd light-hearted, and he could take a joke on himself as good as anything else, and that's what 'tis about. 'Tis better to be smiling and laughing than crying any day, and that's, when you understand that, and when you can have a bit of fun with people, and when you have to be serious, and when you have to do your job, once you can define the two, I don't think there's any harm in that.
Sure thing. Okay, well listen, congratulations again. Yeah, Maura, very briefly.
Very briefly, he'd be exceptionally proud if he was here today. But I know one thing he would say, that the turf wasn't cut and Ray yet. And that's our first job.
That was the biggest pain
he'd be
in
on
me.
to something else straight away. The mind just never stopped. But I know that's what he'd be on today when the count to be in.
Certainly. Well, listen, we'll leave it there. My thanks to both of you, and congratulations again on your election.